the prevailing view in the business world and in the world at large was the internet is not a commercial medium, will never be a commercial medium, it's not for consumers, ordinary people won't use it, and there's no money to be made on it. And people who were trying to do internet-based businesses at that point were generally ridiculed by other people saying, no, that's not, this is a joke. And in fact, a lot of very important people in the technology industry were going out and being on record in 1994 as saying the internet will never amount to anything. It's a toy, it's a distraction, don't pay any attention to it. Some very famous and prominent people were saying that. And so, and I'm just like a newly minted college graduate. Like, who am I to argue with, heads of major media companies, heads of major phone companies, heads of major technology companies. And so it wasn't until Jim Clark ultimately reached out to me and said, we should start a company, that it sort of occurred to me of like, oh.
But so he reached out to you. You're sitting in where were you working?
I was working at a small software company in Palo Alto called EIT.
So you had a good job.
Yeah, good job.
Good salary.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Jim Clark just calls.
Yeah.
And said, we got to start a company?
So Jim Clark calls up and says, I'm Jim Clark. And I said, I know who you are. At that time, he had been the founder of Silicon Graphics. Silicon Graphics at that time was kind of in the Valley, was what Google is today, which is it was the best technology company in the Valley. It was like the one that everybody who was really sharp wanted to work at. And it turned out I was one of about a dozen people Jim approached to start a company. And it turns out I was the only one who was willing to take the leap.
So when you left, you took this leap.
Right.
Did you have a product? I mean, did you know what you were going to build, or was it Jim just talked to everybody, we'll figure it out when we get there?
We basically went through a process of elimination. If interactive TV is not going to be it for at least years to come, and if the game machines aren't going to be networked for years to come, which is what we concluded, then the internet is going to basically win by default. Now, bear in mind, 1994, right? April 1994. So first of all, nobody believed that anybody would buy any software for the internet under any circumstances, no matter what. Number one. Number two, there had never been an ad run on the internet ever, right? So the advertising as a business model was non-existent and considered not possible. So the model that we said was, we'll be a software company. And we'll do the client software essentially as a loss leader. And it needs to exist. Client software needs to exist. We'll give it away for free. We'll do it as a loss leader. And we will charge for the server software. And the fact that everybody's going to have the browser means that all the companies are going to need the server software, which actually turned out to be true. Now, there was a twist on it, which was we did a dual license for the client. We said, let's run an experiment, basically. And we said, let's give it away for essentially individual use, as well as academic nonprofit use. But let's put a clause in the license that says if you use it in a commercial environment, if you use it for business, you have to pay for it. And let's see what happens.